Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you for coming. Today is November 21st, 2019. I call to order the Orleans Parish School Board business meeting for November 21st, 2019. Time now is 5:34. May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Ashley,
Present.
Mr. Brown,
Here.
Ms. Ellison,
Here.
Mr. Cleveland, Mr. Koppel, Mr. Marshall,
Present.
Ms. Newell Houston.
Present.
Also present, Dr. Henderson Lewis Jr. and Sharonda Williams, Board Council. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Let me remind everyone that we have interpretation services that are available during today's meeting. Please.
Hola, hay servicios disponibles en español y tenemos aparatos en el fondo del salón.
Xin chào toàn thể quý vị, tôi tên là Việt, tôi là thông dịch viên. Nếu quý vị cần giúp, xin cho tôi biết. Tôi ngồi phía dưới và tôi sẽ giúp quý vị. Cảm ơn. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all. Tonight's Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Lacey Jones, a 10th grade student at Landry Walker High School. Please stand, everyone, for the pledge.
I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Lacey. Adoption of the agenda. Do we have any additions, deletions, or modifications to the agenda?
There are
If
none.
not, may I have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Brown, 1 second. Someone put in a comment card to speak on the adoption of the agenda as we are taking a vote on it.
The adoption of the agenda?
Yes.
A comment card on the adoption of the agenda, okay. Go ahead.
Good evening, board
evening.
members.
Okay.
My name is Tracy Washington. Thank you. I'm here today. An action item is on adoption of the board agenda. As you all may know, I'm General Counsel for Friends of Kings School District. I'd like to make a general comment before you all adopt the agenda. Orleans Parish School Board, as you know, serves as a regulator to most of the charters. We got several charter organizations in here now. We are monitored. You have very wonderful compliance professionals that attend our meetings and discuss with us governance. And one of the issues that's always raised when your professionals come, Ms. Hippolyte, Dr. Peterson, is how are we engaging our parents in our communities? That's an important factor. Dr. Lewis, you will agree, an important factor for us. We've got to stay engaged and stay in touch. So I want you to consider, prior to adopting this agenda, that there is no opportunity, be it at your board business meetings, which we attended 2 days ago, or here, for the public, for parents, to make a comment about something that's so important to them. Parents and community, whether schools will stay open and under the leadership that they've bonded with. Easily, I don't know the capacity of this room, but let's say easily, I don't know, 150 folks, parents here, to talk with you about that, give their opinions, and that's important. Final comment. I'm a professor at Tulane. I teach political science. Got a lot of letters behind my name. Doesn't equate to money, so don't get it twisted. I teach political science, and I talk about the fact that democracy can be messy. You couldn't make me run for public office and do what you guys do. But it's important, and you signed up for it. And I think it's important that at some point you all consider when you will allow the public to talk with you about the schools.
And that's your time.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for your comment. And before we adopt the agenda, and I do understand that there are numbers of you here about possibly about closures of schools and so on. And that will be an item that can be and will be discussed at future meeting. Am I right, Mr. Superintendent?
Only if the board disagrees with the decision that I make, you have up to the next board meeting to put it on the agenda.
Yes, to put it on the agenda, and for us to have that opportunity from this meeting going forward to hear of your concerns, of your comments, and what your desires are, and what you think this board needs to hear. So it will be an action item if that's what most of you or all of you are here for tonight. And I know it's of great concern to you, and it is of these board members as well. However, I did talk with the superintendent and with the board attorney about it. And although it is not an action item, I have asked that we allow exception tonight to have at least one individual from the school to be able to speak to that issue. Now, if you want to have multiple individuals to speak to this issue, give us an opportunity to put it on the agenda as we have it as a part of our policy to do so. And then you can have multiple, and we'll stay here as long as you want to have that happen. But until we have an opportunity to talk with each other about it, we want to hear it, and we want to hear from the schools and from those administrators, parents, and those of you who are working in those schools to hear your comments and so on. But again, it's not an action item. It's not a part of our policy to address those things. But we will make an exception tonight that if you have a person that you'd like to begin having that dialogue with us, to at least bring that to our attention, some of your concerns, we will do that tonight. Okay.
I believe you have a motion and a second.
Yeah. I promise you. Okay, thank you. Okay. Can I get a motion?
It's
to-
already on the table.
Second, we just need a vote.
Okay, roll call, please.
It's the adoption of the agenda. We need a vote, Mr. Brown.
All in favor?
Up or down? Yeah.
All those in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? We have none, it's unanimous. Okay. Adoption of the minutes. Do we have any additions, deletions, or modifications to the minutes?
None.
I move we adopt the minutes without waiving the reading of the minutes.
Okay.
Second.
We understand. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Superintendent's agenda, move right on.
Thank you, Board President Brown. Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I would like to go over my charter renewal recommendations. Before I begin with that, just want to remind everyone that we have established and we maintain high expectations through our charter school accountability framework, which actually outlines very clearly, very transparent way of our benchmark of where schools must be in order for them to continue to educate our children here in New Orleans. With that context, I'd like to announce my recommendations for charter renewals, but before I do that, I'm going to ask Dr. Kelly Peterson, our Chief Portfolio and Innovation and Accountability Officer, to present to us our overview of our renewal standards. Dr. Peterson.
Good evening, Chairman Brown, Superintendent Lewis, and members of the board. The Charter School Accountability Framework, as Dr. Lewis mentioned, outlines our standard renewal process that is a routine for all of our schools. This process, included with our extension process, takes into account the state accountabilities data, which we utilize to derive the school performance renewal index to determine the eligibility for our renewal schools. Additionally, there's a renewal site visit where we have conversations with our school leadership as well as board leadership. This slide shows our overview of our renewal standards. The school performance renewal index, once calculated, is then aligned with the corresponding base terms. On this slide shows our base standards for the alternative school renewal standards. And again, to the right is the base term length. Throughout this entire renewal process, we have continued and will continue to communicate with families to ensure that they understand the process, the decision, and next steps. Presented here are the administrative recommendations that were made on Tuesday at our accountability committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Peterson. So for the following schools, here are the renewals. Andrew H. Wilson Charter School is renewed for 5 years. Foundation Preparatory is going to be renewed for 3 years. George Washington Carver Collegiate Academy is going to be renewed for 5 years. Langston Hughes Charter Academy is going to be renewed for 3 years. The Net Charter School Central City will be renewed for 5 years. Booker T. Washington will receive its extension. Livingston Collegiate Academy will receive its extension. Joseph A. Craig Charter School will not be renewed. Mary D. Coghill Elementary School will not be renewed. Given the non-renewal of Coghill and Craig, we have initiated an open siting process where both new and existing operators may apply. A new operator will be identified to lead the school. There is no action required of the families at this time, and the school will remain open for the duration of this school year. The children at Craig and Coghill do not need to fill out a one-app. Speaking of one-app opens tomorrow, November 22nd. Main round results will be available in March of 2020, a month earlier than in 2019. Just as we did last year, OneApp is intentionally opening after the announcement of our school letter grades and renewal decision to give families the best possible information. New functionality of OneApp is to we have made it look better, cleaner, and faster and easier. Keeping siblings together has been a priority, so we have enhanced our family link to make it easier as well. And also, when it comes down to the search function for school, we have made that easier. I have one facility citing decision today. Effective for the 2020-2021 school year, La Cité Francais will be housed in the McNair building on Carrollton Avenue. Tonight, we have one of our partners, New Schools for New Orleans, who is helping us to lead the work around instructional quality, that initiative. I've invited them here today to talk about this to our board and to the public. I will ask Dr. Jawan Brown Alexander to come up now for an informational presentation this evening. Dr. Brown, excuse me, Dr. Alexander.
Disappointed in the board, not in terms of Craig and Cargill. We have, blood has been spilled for black men to sit there. None of you told these kids to come sit on the floor. If you were coming with me in Mississippi or Selma, you would never be standing there. If you would come to the Trinity Center, you would never be standing there. They are treating you with a new day lynching. It's not about education. It's not about that. Let's look at this. If, and I mentioned it the other night, who is sitting there that spoke and taught these children, especially the females, about those 4 little girls that died in Birmingham. How can you be educators and let that not be known? But even worse and similar to that, we have 4, 5, 6 years old at Tamarine and Fan that can recite strange fruit and interpret it and say the worst kind of fruit. If I can't read, if I can't write. Each day, when they move when they come in and go to class, they say, thanks, Dr. King. And they learn the connections between Martin Luther King and Jackie Robinson. You know what the connection is? Do you know what the connection is? The connection is both of them could read. You're wrong. You're wrong. A person like me, I have no fear here because you ain't paid the dues to be here. not play. Do not come with this smoke screen. Now, I'm going to tell you what happened. 1 year, Moon Landrum was the mayor. And our children needed buses to go to the park. It was not Moon's fault, I must say. But you know what the aftermath was? And children, you do not know your history, and they refuse. You control this. Yes. Bring your classmates here the next time. Take your seat. Take your seat. That's what I did at Canal and Rampart. That's what I did with my friends at Southern University. This is why we went to prisons like John Lewis and Aretha Castle Haley and George Raymond. For you to accept this, that's girls, boys, for you to bow down. For you to bow down. This will not happen the way it's happened. Sure, they need changes in certain schools, but they would not do white kids that if they were the dominant. Do not play. Now the next time I come, there ain't gonna be no meeting unless you deal with them right. The police, I will call the superintendent. Jail means nothing to me. I done been in Parchman, but I done been in Paris prison. I done been in jails in Baton Rouge. I done been in jails in North Carolina. For you to learn how to speak up. Do not let no man to dishonor your mother's womb. Listen to me. In jails, I thought about my mother bringing me into the world. When the deputies would, hey, miss, don't you laugh. Don't you laugh. There's a school in here tonight. There ain't no meeting. There ain't no meeting. Now, the other thing, the other deal. I sat with Martin Luther King. And he came. Y'all see how I speak now? When I was a boy in grade school, I couldn't speak. I had a speech difficulty, right? Because my teachers were creative. And they designed a plan that gave me absolutely confidence. I've been in universities across the country. I went to meet Bobby Kennedy, not in his office. I met him in his private apartment. And do you know who enabled me to confront that? One, my mother, because she read to me every night. Secondly, my great teachers. My great teachers. We at grade school, when I was there, I learned the 12 timetables backwards. And it didn't have nothing to do with the 12 timetables. That was done so I could learn to concentrate. And up with my tie tongue and all when I sat in front of Kennedy. He was not going to ever disrespect Leona, son. It wasn't going to happen. Now, when I was with Dr. King used to say my great strengths is from Sunday school. And then I had to bow to those teachers and southside the head and from my grandmama to make me know to be on time for Sunday school. There is a tremendous loss. You cannot evaluate these children without dealing with the emptiness of socialization. I stand in here doing Katrina. We pulled our children out the water. There was nobody in there with the school board. I stepped in the Tree Maid Center. Nobody had a plan. Don't give me this. And you see this? I'm going to ask some people, some of my friends, to help President Cahill to find a way to get a restraining order for the social insensitivity to this system. I don't know how to move this.
Good afternoon, board members. Superintendent Lewis. Dr. Lewis. Dr. Lewis, on behalf of our CEO, Patrick Dobart, and our full team, I would like to thank you and your team for collaborating with us around instructional quality and supports, and for allowing us to present today. Before I get started, I would like to thank all of the teachers, the school and CMO leaders that do the hard work and the heavy lifting every single day in terms of preparing our students. We are excited that through the Instructional Quality Initiative, they are able to utilize high-quality resources. So we wanted to present today just an impact in terms of what the instructional quality has meant. Dina Hesiotis did a great job on Tuesday really framing this for the committee. And this first slide really speaks to how the state created a framework, if you will, around instructional quality, the IQI, as we call it here in New Orleans. The IQI allows schools to partner with NSNO, NOLA Public Schools, and LDOE. Funding is given to those schools to purchase curriculum, high-quality aligned curriculum, as well as the supports that go along with them. And the slide here shows that we needed this initiative to happen, and we needed it to happen quickly. Last school year was the first year of this initiative rolled out in New Orleans, and the two charts at the bottom show the gap that existed from 2014 or 2015 to 2019 between the state growth, the mastery and advanced plus growth for ELA and math. And it shows that the rest of the state, at about 93%, had began to adopt high quality curriculum. But in New Orleans, we had not started those adoptions. And so with that, we started the hard work of rolling up our sleeves and really partnering with schools. Statewide, again, 93%. Now New Orleans, after starting at about 30% of schools adopting high-quality curriculum, we can now say that about 85% of our schools are now adopting high-quality curriculum and supports. So again, we talked about this last year at the committee meeting when we first presented IQI, and we look at it in two phases. Phase one is the purchasing of the Tier 1 curriculum. Phase two is around the implementation and supports, and that's where we are now. We're in phase two of this work. This is the hard part. Adoption is the easy part. Getting the materials into the schools and having teachers and leaders really talk about what those adoptions need to look like. But the hard part is the implementation. And we credit our collaboration with NOLA Public Schools and our partnership with LDOE. LDOE and NSNO together provided about $5 million in supports year one so that the schools could adopt high quality curriculum and supports. And so this is really showing how much we've grown. 2017, 2018 was really a year, an unfunded year. So it just marks where we were in terms of ELA curriculum and math curriculum supports. That particular year, we did not monitor or measure the number of schools that had agreed to enter into vendor partnerships. And our vendors, I want to stop here to say that our vendor supports are critical to this work. So folks like TNTP, ANET, Instruction Partners, those are the folks that we're talking about when we're talking about our external vendor partnerships. They are the experts around curriculum and curriculum supports, and those folks are the ones that we've partnered with to make this happen. And so as you can see, we're trending up every year, and our students are benefiting, and our teachers are benefiting. And so our 2018-2019 takeaways, and I'll walk through these quickly. As a result of the Instructional Quality Initiative, first and foremost, schools made significant progress in adoptions, and we talked about that. Just for them to not adopt or realize the importance of adoption, and then to move to adoption was critical to our work. School teachers, leaders had been doing really hard, working hard in their schools and doing the hard work, but to have aligned curriculum, that is essential to success. And we saw that in the first slide, how the state has trended up and we had become stagnant in our work here. Secondly, teachers have a significant need for more training and support. Implementation without support, that does not improve our schools. We have to have the supports for our teachers and our instructional leaders. And then thirdly, vendor partnerships are strongly correlated with improvement, and we'll show you in the next few slides how we arrived at that finding. And so the first takeaway really looks at the investment, the buy-in at the school level, which we saw 100% of focus groups talk to us about the buy-in and the urgency. The effort and the appropriate grade level focus were all indicative of this first takeaway, that schools were making progress as it related to our adoptions. And then secondly, looking at teachers needing additional supports. So we talked about, or we spoke about, the buy-in at a very high level. So about 75% of our teachers, when we did our curriculum implementation reviews, were utilizing high-quality curriculum. What we need to continue to work on is the fidelity aspect of it. So using the curriculum as intended. So only about 50% of our math teachers, when observed, were using the curriculum as intended, and only about 25% of our ELA teachers. And so this is the critical work that continues to happen. We are walking through schools each and every day, along with NOLA Public Schools, of course, LDOE, and our external partners. And takeaway 3. So what we saw was that vendor partnerships are critical to the work. We looked at and analyzed LEAP 2025 data, and what we saw was folks that decided to adopt Tier 1 curriculum but did not have a vendor partner to support them really did not see growth this past year. What we saw was that vendor partnerships were the key. And then finally, to wrap up the vendor partnership piece, collaborating with a school leader, vendor partners are focused and ready to continue the implementation work that has started last year and leading into this year, helping school teams develop targeted action plans for academic growth, and acting as thought partners are all critical and essential and important in terms of why we need vendors and vendor experts to assist us in this work. And so, in summary, these are our takeaways. Schools buying in and having the change management, along with the adoption of the Tier 1 curriculum, the support of vendor partners, the ongoing school-led professional development, and the collaboration, it equals the successful implementation and improved student outcomes. That has been what we've seen in the data, And I believe, and our theory is that that is what we'll continue to see in the data in years to come. Providing financial support is what NSNO wants to continue to do through our IQI grants, connecting schools with national vendor experts and partners, and creating professional learning communities, our curriculum hubs, and our summer support opportunities. And finally, our curriculum hubs. These are our communities of practice. Our teachers continue, again, to need the supports. Our leaders continue to need the supports so that they are properly internalizing the curriculum and implementing it in a way where it meets the fidelity standard, and the curriculum hubs are there to support them. And so in 18-19, you can see the curriculum hubs that we had available. This school year, we have hubs for teachers around Agile Mind implementation, Eureka, illustrative math, guidebooks, wit and wisdom, and we have a direct teacher coaching hub and a special education RTI hub as well. This is the hub data that we collected and analyzed, and what it shows is that with a vendor partnership, adopting Tier 1 curriculum, along with teachers and leaders participating in our curriculum hubs, gave us the success that we were looking for in terms of instituting and looking at high quality implementation. And these are our external partners that we talked about: ANET, Instruction Partners, School Kit, TNTP, the Teaching Lab, Leading Educators, Great Minds, all contributing to the work that our teachers and our students are doing every single day. Questions?
Thank you, Dr. Alexander. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank not only you for your presentation tonight, CEO Patrick Dobar and the entire NSNO team for doing the heavy lifting as we are supporting our schools when it comes down to the implementation of Tier 1 curriculum. And as you mentioned, the easy part was the adoption, getting the materials in the schools in the hands of our educators. But now is the time to continue to support them through training and the hubs that you all have and the support that happens within those buildings every single day. And I believe that also will help to retain some of our educators here in the city of New Orleans. So again, we thank you for your presentation tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Board President Brown, this concludes my report for tonight.
Thank you, Superintendent. Board Council, I think at this time it might be appropriate
Yes.
to allow those schools that would like to have a representative to
Representative.
speak before we get into
Yes.
our agenda.
Yes.
Okay.
So I know I got okay. If you all want to choose someone different, I know I have two cards here, Willie Calhoun and Reverend Watson, but Kavana.
Tracy, give us an opportunity. Tracy, give us an opportunity.
Yeah, she's going to. She's going to.
Sit down. You sit down, Tracy.
If I could get the speaker to identify your name and address, please.
Raven Calloway, 4617 Marabou Avenue, 70126. Is it conducive to the well-being of a child to change a school's charter network, especially one wholly vested in the community? Is that a proper way to deliver education to the scholars who trust leaders to do right by them? BCF, Better Choice Foundation, has always considered education an integral piece of raising a whole and healthy child. All of the board members are residents of the Pontilly and Pontchartrain Park area, and they are the anchors and nurturers of this community. The board members' children and grandchildren attend or attended Cog Hill, just as the board members are alumni of this school. I, as Cog Hill's head of school, have enrolled my two young boys there. I believe that Better Choice Foundation is the best operator for our scholars, families, and communities. BCF has managed Cog Hill since 2012 and has been committed to achieving strong success for our scholars. Only recently has the SBS declined. Yet nothing about this school speaks to me as an F school. It is blessed with teachers committed to raising excellent scholars, with resources available to enrich our scholars' needs, and with the unwavering community support that the iconic school remain not just a building, but a source of empowerment and pride. Why is it an advantage for NOLA Public School to extend the charter for Better Choice Foundation? The success of Cog Hill is linked to Better Choice Foundation, which is fully committed to working with the new administrative team to propel Cog Hill to a successful path under the same board. Extending a renewal will be a positive step in the direction and will provide stability to the children we serve and the community. Please reconsider Dr. Lewis's recommendation and extend the charter that would allow Better Choice Foundation to continue the excellence and establish stability currently existing in the community. Better Choice Foundation is the optimal choice for our scholars, families, and communities. And at this time, I ask that you please lend your ears to our child, Corey, as she would like to give a speech to you all.
Lift every verse and say, remember school board leaders, no child left behind.
You got this. Come on, Corey. You got this.
This school means that.
Speak up. It's okay. You don't have to cry. You don't have to cry. We with you. We are with you. We're with you. We're with you. We're with you.
This school means everything to me. I've been here since I was in pre-K. I never attended another school but Cog Hill. Since I walked through the buildings of Cog Hill, I knew that I wanted to attend. And I want to remain and graduate from Mary D. Cog Hill.
It's okay. It's okay.
With Better Choice Foundation Board, Cog Hill is all that I know and all that I want to know. When I am depressed, my teacher pulls me to the side and encourages me. I love and care about Cog Hill. At Cog Hill, we empower each other and never give up on each other. At Cog Hill, I gain trustworthy friendships, loyalty, and knowing that a great student has failed. Every day I wake up knowing that I'm going to learn and every day I wake up and learn to know and I'm going to be a great person. At Cog Hill, I know that I am safe and cared for and loved. The BCF board makes sure that we have all the materials that we need. This school has been open since 1960, and I am still here. Mary D. Cog Hill Mary D. Cog Hill is a family to me, and I love it deeply. I respect all staff members and students at Cog Hill. I want to thank all the BFC board members for being there for us. The mission of Mary D. Cog Hill is to educate, empower, and motivate scholars.
All right, Corey.
Okay. Thank you, Cog Hill. Board Counsel?
If there is a representative from Craig. If not.
No.
Okay.
Somebody's coming.
Reverend Calhoun, I believe.
Reverend Calhoun, you're going to speak?
Good evening. I do think our children deserve a round of applause for standing up for what their civil rights really are. I'm Reverend Willie L. Calhoun Jr. I too come to echo that our children deserve to not be damaged anymore. The display that you just saw shows that there's damage that's being done to these children by school closures. The answer cannot be this revolving door of leadership to send another group in that says they're going to do better than the last group, and they're not even given the same circumstance or the same children that the last group has. I think that's a problem. The resources that's needed at these schools, and it's mind-boggling to me that when you get kids that may be 10-to-1 between Lutcher and Craig with mental health issues, but the resources are not the same. I think at some point we need to really come together. At some point we need to really come together and address what's really wrong in our school system. My personal opinion, we are worse now than we were before Katrina. So, as I always leave, God bless you and God keep you.
Thank you, Reverend Calhoun. That's it? Okay. Moving on. Just give a minute for the crowd. We'll give a minute for the crowd to settle.
And you know it. That is unfair to our children. Stop worrying about money and worry about the children.
Okay, I think we can continue. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to action items. The first item is action item 4.1, the board meeting calendar for 2020. It's recommended that the Orleans Parish School Board adopt the proposed meeting calendar for the 2020 calendar year.
So moved.
A motion?
We have a motion and a second.
Sorry.
And a second.
We have a motion and a second. Any cards?
None.
No cards?
No
All in
cards.
favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion carries.
Next item, action item 4.2 is Resolution 16-19. It is recommended that the Orleans Parish School Board adopts Resolution 16-19, creating the specialized programming grant to be funded with CNF dollars, authorizing the superintendent to implement the eligibility criteria, program eligibility requirements, application submission and evaluation processes, and monitoring processes developed by the administration for said grant, and authorizing the superintendent to approve all grant awards.
So moved. I have an amendment I'd like to add.
Okay.
On the second page of the resolution, in the fourth paragraph of that page, remove the words annually and review from line 2 and replace the word review with annually evaluate and report out on. and then add the words consult with school leaders and then after the word reorientation in the third line of that paragraph. So the amended paragraph, the administration has this, the amended paragraph, board members would read, be it further resolved that given the innovative nature of this reorientation of funds, prior to the release of funds, NOLA Public Schools will annually evaluate and report out on the impact of that reorientation, consult with school leaders, and then determine if continued drawdown of CE&F dollars per the recommendation of the working group continues to be a strategic use of said dollars.
Can I ask that we just defer it just for a minute? Let me just look over your amendment. So if we could go over, move forward to the next item and then come back to that item, please. Thank you. So the motion is to defer the item.
Okay, that's 4.2.
Ms. Ellison, would you?
You have the amendment?
Yeah.
She has it.
Yeah.
Want to go to the next?
Yes. I think there was a motion on the table.
I'll second it so we can vote to defer to later in the meeting.
Okay. We do have a motion and a second. Okay.
For what? For what?
To defer.
Defer.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, so it's deferred to a later point in the meeting.
Next item, action item 4.3. It's recommended, the policy committee recommends that the Orleans Parish School Board approves cash management policy DGA.
Make a motion to approve
Wait.
policy DGA.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Nothing on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion carries. 4.4.
Action item 4.4, the policy committee recommends that the Orleans Parish School Board approves the investments policy DFE.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, 4.4 moves on.
Action item 4.5 is Resolution 22-19. The Budget and Finance Committee recommends that the Orleans Parish School Board adopts Resolution 22-19, authorizing the sale and delivery of not to exceed $40 million Revenue Anticipation Notes Series 2019 of the Orleans Parish School Board and providing for other matters with respect to the foregoing.
So moved with the waiving of the reading of the resolution.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We do have a second.
No
Okay.
cards.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ashley?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes?
Ms. Ellison? Mr. Cleben? Mr. Koppel?
Yes.
Mr. Marshall?
Yes.
Ms. Newell Houston?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next item, action item 4.6. The Budget and Finance Committee recommends that the Orleans Parish School Board approves the purchase of 40 active panels, peripherals, and installation from AXI Education Solutions, who holds a Louisiana state-approved contract. The total amount of this purchase is not to exceed $193,470.80.
So moved.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, 4.6 passes.
Item 4.7, the Budget and Finance Committee recommends that the Orleans Parish School Board approves change order number 2 with Roof Technologies, Inc. for Warren Easton Charter High School roof parapet repairs, project number 19-FAC-0026 in the amount of $83,057.36, and authorize General Counsel to prepare a contract for signatures of the board president and the contractor.
So moved.
Wait 1 second. Ms. Allison has some comments on this item consistent with what was discussed at the Finance Committee meeting the other day.
I withdraw my motion.
Okay. Motion is withdrawn before the presentation. Go ahead.
Since the Budget and Finance Committee meeting on Tuesday, the contractor has lowered the price for change orders 1 and 2 by a total of $5,629 by eliminating $4,569 in sales taxes, $545 for a nailer and batteries, and the corresponding $515 in overhead. Change order 1 is amended from $2,928.50 to $2,864.50. And change order 2 is amended from $83,057.36 to $77,492.36, resulting in a total contract of $201,325.86. Administration recommends that the action be changed to reflect these amended amounts.
I'll make the motion to approve change order 1 with Roof Technologies, Inc. for Warren Easton High School roof parapet repairs, project number 19-FAC-0026 to the amount of $2,864.50, and change order 2 in the amount of $77,492.36.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, that motion moves on.
Well, now we need a motion to actually approve the item as amended.
Okay,
So moved.
Second.
so a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries.
Action item 4.8. The Budget and Finance Committee recommends that the Orleans Parish School Board accepts the $10,000 donation from the Hartford to support the district's fire safety education efforts and programming.
So moved.
Motion. Can we get a second?
Second.
We do have a second for Ms. Ellison. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion moves on.
Action item 4.9, the Budget and Finance Committee recommends that the Orleans Parish School Board approves the proposal meeting the specifications for public relations and communications specialist from the Earhart Group in the amount of $100,000 for 1 year, with the option to extend the contract for 3 additional 1-year periods, subject to board approval, and authorize general counsel to prepare the contract for signatures of the board president and the consultant.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none.
And just for record-keeping purposes, I think our note taker needed some clarity on one of the votes on item 4.5 as to that resolution, right? Ms. Ellison, I think she didn't get
Yes.
yours recorded. Okay. And are we moving back to 4.2?
We can.
Okay. Action item 4.2, it is recommended that the Orleans Parish School Board adopts Resolution 16-19, creating the specialized programming grant to be funded with CNF dollars, authorizing the superintendent to implement the eligibility criteria, program eligibility requirements, application submission, and evaluation processes and monitoring processes developed by the administration for said grant, and authorizing the superintendent to approve all grant awards.
So moved with my amendment.
Okay.
Second.
We do have a motion and a second. Any cards on this? None. Roll call.
Mr. Ashley?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Ellison?
Yes.
Mr. Cleben?
Yes.
Mr. Koppel?
Yes.
Mr. Marshall?
Yes.
Ms. Newell Houston?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Action item, now we have executive session.
So moved.
Second. It's now 6:28. We have a motion to move into executive session and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Executive session. Time now is 7:25, I believe. I have a motion to reconvene.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Ashley?
Present.
Mr. Brown?
Here.
Ms. Ellison?
Here.
Mr. Cleben?
Here.
Mr. Koppel?
Present.
Mr. Marshall?
Here.
Ms. Newell Houston?
Here.
Also present, Dr. Henderson Lewis Jr. and Sharonda Williams, Board Counsel. We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Yield to Board Counsel.
The board convened an executive session to discuss item 5.1, Rosa Reed et al. Versus Orleans Parish School Board, CDC number 2006-01275. The Legal Legislative Committee recommends that the Orleans Parish School Board approves the proposed settlement in this matter as recommended by its legal counsel.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none,
Carries.
The board also discussed item 5.2, discussion of the character, professional competence, physical or mental health of a person's school board personnel. In connection with that matter, 2019-2020 superintendent performance objectives, as proposed by the board, are being recommended for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none. Are there any further items on our agenda? Hearing none, we have a motion
Second.
to join and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all. Mhm.